This morning, search teams are returning to the waters of the Potomac River as they begin the search of any of the wreckage found in the river after that horrible crash between an American Airlines jet and the helicopter from the Army. Trying to salvage what is left after 67 people were killed on board. The recovered debris will be part of the investigation that is underway by the NTSB. The agency reports that both black boxes have been recovered and they will undergo an extensive evaluation. NTSB officials warn the investigation could take time.
It's one of the reasons why the NTSB is known as the gold standard. We will take the time that's necessary, but I'd also like to reiterate, if we find something that is a significant issue that warrants immediate action, we will not hesitate to make those recommendations and make them public.
The NTSB does expect to release a preliminary report about the crash within 30 days.
And as flight authorities dig into how the crash happened, we're learning about those lost in this tragedy. While a full list of those aboard the plane has not been released, some have been identified by family and friends. Among the youngest victims was the ice skating couple of Angela Yang and Sean Kay, the 11-year-olds from Delaware, and their coach, Alexander Sasha Kirsanov, were on board the plane. They were among 14 members from the ice skating community who were on that flight. Azra Hussein was identified as one of those on board the flight by her family. She was returning home from work in Wichita. And Cedarville University in Ohio identified Grace Maxwell as another passenger. The loss leaving so many families and communities grieving this morning.
For more on the crash investigation and reaction, NBC's Alice Barr is standing by live from Washington, D.C. this morning.
Alice, a lot of people are anxious, of course, to find out what caused this midair collision. We know the black boxes have been recovered. We're starting to learn more about the air traffic control Wednesday night. What else do we know at this point from a preliminary report from the FAA?
Yeah, Jake and Mimi, what we're hearing from the FAA's preliminary report and from sources talking about that with us is that apparently the staffing levels were not considered normal at the time of this collision. And they were, it's important to note, still considered acceptable under FAA standards. But typically you would have one person who's handling helicopter traffic and an air traffic controller handling helicopter traffic and one handling planes. And in this case, apparently one controller was handling both. And apparently that does happen. It is considered acceptable, but it's one thing that they're going to be looking closely at, as well as the elevation that the helicopter pilot was flying and whether he was above his designated airspace.
Alice, yesterday we witnessed really just a frankly bizarre and wandering press conference from the president implying without evidence that these diversity hiring programs could be the cause of the crash. Is this having any impact on the investigation?
Right. And he actually just did put out another social media post where he said that he believes the pilot was flying far too high. In that press conference yesterday, he did appear to lay blame at points on the helicopter pilot as well as the air traffic controllers. And he went on a long detour talking about diversity, equity, inclusion programs from the Biden and from the Obama administrations and seeming to draw a connection between the air traffic controllers' capabilities and these policies that he clearly is seeking to dismantle. He was asked by reporters directly what evidence he had to back that up, and he said it just could be. So seeming to acknowledge in that moment he did not have concrete evidence to back up what he was referencing.
Yeah, and we are still awaiting the facts to find out what exactly happened here. All right, Alice Barr standing by live this morning. Thank you so much for the update.